Maria, and you're about to watch a video of a message that was preached at Calvary Fellowship in Miramar, Florida. At Calvary, our mission is to help people take their next step with God, and we pray this message helps you do just that.
Good morning, Calvary. How you guys doing? All right, man. Didn't the band, I can't stand it. I really can't. Every time I'm off the stage, it's almost like they sound better. Can we give it up for the band this morning? I'm going to be out of a job soon. I know it. Brandon, with your angelic voice. This is real life. All right, sorry. Well, hey, I'm so glad you decided to come to church today. Not just because I'm here, but, because you guys are here, and you guys look fabulous, all right? But let's start today. We're going to be studying, continuing our series, Songs of the Kingdom, and we're going to be studying one of my favorite Psalms. Which one is it, George? Which one is it? You're going to find out. Don't worry. You're going to find out. So before we do that, let me tell you a story. Probably the craziest thing that's ever happened to my wife and I, Evelyn and I. A couple years ago, we're doing the marriage retreat at the Naples Grand, just like we're doing now, right? And we're in charge of kind of getting the van, renting the van, getting all the equipment, driving all the way over there to Naples, setting the thing up, not setting up the whole thing by ourselves, but, getting all the equipment over there. So it's really cool that we get to do that. We get to go to Naples early, grab the van, So I'm renting the van, I pick it up. It's a big cargo van, kind of looks like this, right? One of those big, it's all gutted out, and the whole thing is jam-packed to the roof. You can't see the windows in the back. I mean, it's just jam-packed full of stuff. It's just me, her, and all the equipment. We get to the hotel, and they have like this huge elevator, one of those like service elevators that you can put all types of stuff in. The staff gets there, they help us out, and we put all the stuff in, and Evelyn comes up to me and is like, hey, babe. I'm like, yeah, I got a cool idea. To save some time, why don't you go up with the staff, take care of all the equipment, and I'll go park the van. And those split-second moments in your life when you guys are going, is this really a good idea? All right, sweetie. By the way, she's 8 months pregnant at the time. I'm like, you sure you got this? And she's like, I got this, boy. I'm like, all right, But you're pregnant. I want you to take it easy. Like, I'm going to park the van. It's not that big a deal. My dad had a van. I drove it all the time. I'm like, okay, fine. So she goes, and I go. I go upstairs, put everything away, and then I'm going to meet you in the lobby, I told her. I go to the lobby. She's not there. I'm like, I probably took too long. Okay, she's probably in the room. So I go to the room, hey, sweetie, and she's not there. I'm like, okay. I go back to the area where we were having the retreat, and in the corner of my eye, I see like a grand piano in the foyer, and she's sitting on the piano bench like this. And I'm like, she's going into labor. I'm like, this is okay, the baby, help me. I'm like screaming. I look like a fool, I run up to her, and I'm like, sweetie, what's wrong? She's like, is it the baby? Do I call 911? And she's like, no. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, what happened to the van? All of a sudden, I was as calm as a dove. I'm like, what happened to the van? And she's like, it's not my fault. And I'm like, what happened to the van? And she's like, okay. So remember how I was going to park the van? I'm like, yeah, I knew the plan, remember? I agreed to this. And she went, and there's a parking garage under the hotel. And she's like, so, there's nowhere else to park. So I grabbed the van, and I started going toward that, but as I'm driving, I'm like, man, that looks really tight, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, And so I'm like, okay, so what happened? It's like, well, I started going in, and there's like this bar that says clearance, and it hit the windshield. And I'm like, okay, you backed up, right? And she's like, listen, man, I was freaking out, so I just went for it, And I'm like, you did not. No. You're pulling my, no. Listen, this weekend's supposed to be about relaxing, marriage, enjoying. Come on. You did not. She's like, I did. I was freaking out. I didn't know what else to do. I thought people were watching me, so I just went for it. And I'm like, where's the van, sweetie? Where is the van? She's like, it's under the hotel. And I'm like, okay, let's go, because we got to get it out, right? So I get to the van. I jump on top in the back, and it's just raw metal. It's just destroyed, all dented up. The roof is destroyed. And the reason why I start freaking out is because homeboy over here didn't buy insurance for his rental car. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to like sell one of my kidneys to be able to fix this stupid van, you know? So I'm like, all right, we're going to get it out. So I get in the van with her, and I get to the thing, the clearance thing hits it, and I'm just like, this is unbelievable. And I go for it again to get it out. And you hear, we get it out. And I'm like, I've got to fix this. Like, this is crazy. And I go, wait, but we're safe. We're safe. Keep calm. Keep calm. No one else got there yet. We were the first ones there, so no one knows. I'm like, all right, we're safe. We're good. No one knows about this, right? So we're like, all right, what are we going to do? I'm like, I got to think quick. Think quick. Come on, George. I'm like, I got it. Let's take it to a car wash. Yes, a car wash. So I take it to the car wash. The guy looks at me. This is a brand new van. The thing is like spotless. The guy looks at me. He's like, what's up, man? What you doing? I'm like, oh, you guys like buff out like scratches, right? You know? He's like, oh yeah, we got this program and this thing and this solution and this compound, and yeah, you have some scratches? I'm like, yeah, can you hook me up, man? The roof, man, needs a little bit, you know, just a little love, you know? And the guy gets up there, he goes, I know, no. Like, what did you do to this van? And I'm like, can you just buff it? He's like, sir, you need paint. Like, it's metal. It's like, it's a white van, but I see silver. Like, it's metal. And I'm like, okay. Can you just make me feel better and just wash it anyway? You know, he's like, okay, sure. And we pay for it, the whole thing. I start freaking out because I'm just like, what am I going to do? You know, I've got to figure out a way out. So I'm like, look, maybe I should buy spray paint. Spray paint sounds like a good idea. And I could get a hammer and hammer from the inside. Let's go to Home Depot. No, you know what? Nail polish, something. I need help. Someone please save me, right? And I'm like, man, how did I get myself into this? Have you ever been in a situation kind of like that, where you feel like you're like cornered and you have nowhere to go, you have no exit way, and you're trying to figure out the solution to this giant problem that's weighing you down, and instead of enjoying the whole weekend with my wife, I was worried about this van. And by the way, remember, it was our only form of transportation. So there's a time that we get to go on a romantic date night, and guess what I was driving? The van, right? Every time, let's go get a bite to eat. There's the van, you know, like, we're like, I'm pulling up to valet, with this giant van, and then the guy's like, bro, you taking your wife out on a date with this? What's wrong with you? I'm like, I've had a long day, okay, buddy? Like, seriously, you know? But have you ever been there? You know, you try to do something, and you think you're on a good path, but you just start making it worse, and you don't know how to get out, and maybe it was your fault, maybe it was somebody else's fault, but it didn't matter. You needed to fix it. Right? You need to fix it or cover it up. Like, how can I get away with this? And I know, God, look, this is a little lie. It's not going to be that big of a deal. But you know what, God, you're going to forgive me, right? So just, you know, we're homeboys, right? We're good, right? Yeah. No, it doesn't work that way, does it? Maybe for you it's like plumbing. I love plumbing. This is my favorite topic on the planet because I think I'm Mr. Fix-It. My wife has a different description of who I am, right? So I tell my wife, I'm, sweetie, don't worry, all I need is 15 minutes and a YouTube video, and I got this, okay? What, there's like a plumbing issue? I got this. I got the wrench. The guy told me, just turn it clockwise. I know how to tell time. I got this way. You're good, right? But then I call the plumber because there's a flood, right? There's all this water everywhere. I don't know what I did because I'm not a professional, so I end up having to call the professional. I make things worse all the time. Does this happen to you? You know, maybe we're talking about like plumbing, we're talking about all this stuff, but maybe for you it's something a little bit more serious. Maybe it's like, I don't know, the doctor gave you a report that you're not really fond of, right? And you're thinking in your head, I'm like, wait a second, doc, are you sure? No, there's got to be a way. There's got to be something that I can do. And the doctor's like, I wish I could tell you, yeah, but there's really nothing you can do. And then it doesn't matter because we try to figure it out anyway. And we start wrecking our brain, getting sicker by the moment because we're trying to figure out how we're going to get better, how we're going to get out of the situation. Maybe for you, it's your husband or your wife. And your husband told you, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. Peace. I'm going to move on with my life, and it's going to be without you. And that's tough. Those are those moments that, you know what, you never think, you never imagine it's going to happen to you. I never in a million years thought I was going to be in the Naples Grand Beach Resort with a van that got destroyed and it was going to be my fault. And sometimes I stop and I think, I'm like, how did I even get there? And that's the same thing that happens with us. How did this even happen? Well, if you've ever felt like that, I'm glad you're here. Because, see, a lot of times We get desperate. We get in the middle of our trials. We don't know where else to go. We tend to rely on ourselves, and that's problem number one. So I'm glad you came to church today, because we're going to find out how to fully rely on God when we need him the most. And see, the psalm that we're going to be studying today, we've been in this series, Songs of the Kingdom, and I love it because there is a psalm for every situation in life. And this psalm is my favorite. It's Psalm 46. So if you have your Bibles or Bible app, or if you have the outline, we have the verses for you right there. And you see, Psalm 46, just so you get an idea of what's going on when it's being written. At this time, Jerusalem is being attacked, okay, by over 185,000 Assyrians. Okay, we're talking about impossible odds here. And they're freaking out, or at least you would think they were freaking out. But check out what the psalm says. It says this. It's in your notes, verse 1 through 3. It says, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear. Even though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though its waters roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with its swelling, Selah. Pause there and give me your attention. My friends, throughout our time this morning, throughout this psalm, we're going to see three ways that we could learn how to rely on God when we need him most. And the first way, it's first fill in your outline, is if you want to rely on God, don't allow fear to control you. Don't allow fear to control you. 2 Timothy says this, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. A sound mind sounds so good when things are hard. So easy to think, oh, God, you gave me a spirit of sound mind. Yeah, but when it's time to hit reality, when reality hits us in the face, right, it's really hard to just calm down. It's really hard to not let fear overtake us. And why did he tell us this? Why did he give us a spirit? Why didn't he give us a spirit of fear? Because he knows that fear is going to destroy us. Evelyn had fear all in her heart, in her mind, in her soul when she was driving that van. She had nowhere else to go. She's like, oh, I'm just going for it. And she made a decision that she probably wouldn't have made if she would have just stopped for 1 second, right? And we do that all the time. Fear makes us do things that we would never do. Fear makes us think that we're in a harder situation than we actually are. It causes us to lie, say things that we would never do, cover things up because, you know what? I don't want anybody to find out this because, imagine what they're going to say about me, and you start fearing that. I mean, it's just crazy. And at the end of the day, fear convinces us that if we don't do something quick to fix the situation that we're in ourselves, well, the consequences are going to be insane. I'll give you an example. I don't know about you, but growing up in Hialeah, okay, first day of school, all right, amen, okay, Hialeah, in the house. Growing up in Hialeah, when it was first day of school, listen, you better not show up first day of school with clothes you wore last year, okay? That's a forbidden sin right there, right? So you get your new shorts or your new jeans, your new shirt, new backpack, Jansport. Oh yeah, my mom got a raise, all right, yeah, all right? Got some Jordans or Payless Bordens, I don't know what you call them, whatever. And I'm walking into school, you're like, all right. You wanted to have your very best first impression for school. Whether you're in first grade, college, doesn't matter. Well, my senior year, I tell my brother, hey, man, I want to do something a little different with my hair. I don't have much. It's okay. Doing what I can, right? I want to get like a fade, like the cool people, like the thugs. But I don't want to be a thug. I just want it to be tight and clean, you know what I'm saying? Just presentable, right? And he's like, yeah, man, hey, go to my fade shop, man. Those guys cut great hair. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Who do I ask for? He's like, dude, anybody. They're all really good. But whatever you do, don't let the old man cut your hair. And I'm like, what? He's like, el viejito. Don't do it. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, look, the owner of the shop, he's this old guy. He knows how to do the really nice, like the Cuban haircuts, like the licks and the this and that, you know what I mean? Like those old school, that stuff. But don't let him fade you up, bro. Yo, he'll mess you up. And I'm like, oh, all right, okay. So I walk in. And guys, if you've ever been to a fade shop, you know how it is. You walk in, and no one acknowledges you. You go to like a hair salon for girls, like, ay, pero sabe, tiki, 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 like, la, 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 pero no. I know. But a guy, you walk in, and everybody's just like, and I walk in, and just like, okay, awkward. I'm like, I'll just sit. And I sit. And then they finally like, yo. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, what's up? I'm like, I just want to fade. tape, And he's like, you got an appointment? I'm like, nah, no, I just walked in. He's like, oh, man, yo, I'm booked, bro. You're going to have to wait. I'm like, okay, it's okay. I'll wait, I'll wait. So, like, one guy goes ahead of me. 2 guys, 3 guys, 15 guys go ahead of me. I'm sitting there for like 2 hours, and I'm just like, what about now? He's like, nah, man, sorry, but I'm booked, bro. Sorry, you should have made an appointment. I'm like, all right, great. And el viejito shows up. The old guy shows up. And he's like, hey, bro, you need a haircut, bro? And I'm like, what do I tell him? I'm like, yeah, but, I'm going to wait. He's like, you're going to wait? Wait, we close in an hour, bro. You got to make a decision quick, because if not, you ain't getting a haircut today. I'm like, oh, but I've been waiting all day. Like, listen, what do you want? You need a fade? I'll hook you up, man. Come on, make it look good, And I'm like, my brother's here. Don't do it. I'm like, And I go, okay, man. Yeah, just, keep it tight, I just want to look good. And he's like, okay, cool, man. And then the moment comes. The moment of truth, like, he turns you around and you get the mirror and you get to check out the back. Okay, bro, you're all set. And I looked like this when I was done. Right? He's worried how he's going to win the finals now, but anyway. But I look at the mirror and I see that, and I'm just like, this only happens to me. You know what I mean? Like, this is why does it have to happen to me? Like, seriously? Guys, it's not, like, how did this happen? Right? I wanted to go to school looking like this. But let me tell you what happens. I looked in the mirror, I got home, my brother looks at me, he's like, he cut your hair. I'm like, I know. So I was like, I'm going to fix it. He's like, what are you going to do to fix it? You ain't got any more hair left. I'm like, yeah, watch this. So I razor blade my entire head. Bald. Like, I even put some lotion on there. It was awesome. I walk in first day of school, everybody's like, what the heck happened to you, man? Dude, we hung out yesterday. What's going on? What's up, cue ball? Like, you get in a fight with a lawnmower? Like, I'm just like. So I wanted to go to school looking like that, but I ended up going to school looking like this, I don't appreciate the laughter, by the way. This hurt me, okay? Anyway, did you lose a bet? Anyway, I feared so much about what people were going to say. I feared so much about how people were going to make fun of me. First day of school, man, this is it. Go big or go home. And instead, people made fun of me even more. And now it wasn't because of what somebody else did. It's because of what I did to myself. I mean, have you ever been in a situation like that? We do that with God all the time. We just can't wait. We can't wait on the Lord. We don't know what he's going to do. So you know what? Like, let's put things into our own hands, and we end up looking like Dr. Evil. And think about it. You look back and you go, how did this even happen? People even warned me about this, and it still happened. And guys, it happens to us all the time. That's why this psalm, I love how when it starts, it says that God is our refuge. He is our strength. He's our ever-present help right now. And it says, therefore, I will not fear. So why are we so afraid? If he didn't put that spirit of fear in us, who did? We did. And we do it all the time. We freak ourselves out all the time. But what if we actually believed what this psalm says? What if we believed that, you know what, he is our refuge. He is my strength. You know what we would do? We would stop running away from our fears and go right through them with God, our ever-present help right now. He's with us in whatever situation you're in right now. As impossible as it sounds, he's with you. Why fear? Oh, it's a lot easier to say than do. I know, I get it. But you see, he's with you. There's no reason to be afraid. If we would just feed our faith instead of feeding our fear, we would be in a completely different situation. When you feed your faith, you spend time with the Lord. You read his word, right? You get around other Christians that, you know what, I need you to pray for me. I'm going through a tough time. You start feeding your faith, and you know what happens? You start building your faith, and you start going, oh, you know what? This is a crazy situation, but my God is faithful. And I look back, and I remember all the stuff he's done for me. You know what? All right, man, I could do this. That's totally different than feeding your fear and just almost having a heart attack because you're freaking out. If you feed your faith, you'll live to see another day. If you feed your fear, it's going to destroy you. So feed your faith and watch your fear just get exhausted and just die out. Control your fear. Don't let it control you. We need to follow God, not our fear. Amen? Amen. Psalm 34 says this, I sought the Lord and he heard me. And what happened? And delivered me from all my what? Fears. God is faithful. If we would just not freak out for a second. Let's continue the psalm. In verse 4, it says this, there's a river whose streams shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacle of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her just at the break of dawn. He's not going to wait. Right at the beginning of the day, just as the break of dawn, the nations raged, the kingdoms were moved. There's just chaos. He uttered his voice, God, and the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. Father, give me your attention. You want to rely on God? Don't let your fears control you. Second thing is we need to remember the God that you serve. Malachi 3:6 says this, for I am the Lord. I do not change. Therefore, you are not consumed. Your situation might look a little dire right now. You might be just in the middle of something chaotic in your life. Someone said this, you lost something, lost a loved one, whatever the case may be, and it is tough. But can I tell you, my friends, God is still faithful. He's still here, and you are not consumed by it. He has bigger and better plans for you. We just have to stick it out. And you see, to understand this psalm, you have to understand, Psalms is an interesting book, because if you don't know who's writing it, or if you don't know what's going on while that psalmist is writing, it's really hard for you to read the psalm and go, okay, well, that makes kind of sense, I guess, or whatnot. So here's the thing. I talk to people all the time, and then when I talk about the book of Psalms, they're like, oh, yeah, the Psalms, I love it. It's a great book. Really, really cool, you know. David, he's awesome. He wrote all the Psalms, and he didn't, right? There's over 7 different authors to the book of Psalms that are credited. Scholars believe there's even more. And this psalm is written by the sons of Korah. Raise your hand if you know who the sons of Korah are. Aren't you glad you came to church today? All right. Raise your hand if you know who Korah is. Sure, Alejandro, really? Okay. I'll quiz you later. Korah, let's find out who he is, right? Korah is an Israelite. He's a Levite that was with Israel after they got saved from Egypt, right? So he saw the parting of the Red Sea. He was hungry in the middle of that desert, and manna came from heaven, right? God did the craziest, the biggest, and the baddest miracles to this guy. And the lineage of Korah, what they were in charge of, as far as Israel goes, they were in charge of the sanctuary, like our sanctuary. They were in charge of making sure that the Ark of the Covenant and the tabernacle and everything was built and ready for the worship of God. Just like we used to be like a couple years ago, right? I mean, it wasn't that long ago. We were setting up church and tearing it down at that high school. Every single Sunday, set it up, tear it down, set it up, tear it down. And here's the thing. Korah got tired. He's like, you know what? God, I'm done. You called Israel to be a generation of priests. You know, I want to be a priest. Why does Moses have to be the priest or Aaron have to be the priest? Like, how come I'm not the holy man that can tell Israel what to do? Who's this Moses guy anyway? You know what? I don't even like setting up these curtains and setting up this whole thing for you. Oh boy. Trouble, right? The Lord hears this, sees this, and tells Moses, tells Aaron, tells everybody in Israel, hey, get out of the way because I'm about to do something. And obviously I'm paraphrasing extremely. This is like the George version, you know, of the Bible. But he's like, get out of the way because this is not going to happen. This guy's going against my will. I've called Moses to lead these people into the promised land, not Korah. I called Korah to do something pretty important. Set up my tabernacle so that people can have an encounter with me. That's pretty awesome. But what happened? It's in your outline. Numbers 16 says this. As soon as he had finished saying all this, the ground under them split apart, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them and their households, and all those associated with Korah. Together with their possessions, they went down alive into the realm of the dead. With everything they owned, the earth closed over them, and they perished and were gone from the community, and you never hear about Korah ever again. Like that. It's crazy. It's crazy because He had such a great responsibility. And because he forgot the God he serves. Because he forgot where he had come from. Just like Israel always forgot what God had done so that they can be where they are right now so they can complain about it, right? Drives me crazy. He forgot who God was. Now, here's the thing. His sons, on the other hand, we find out later in Numbers, God spared them. Why? Because they were too young. His dad went crazy. Okay, well, you know what? Let's not blame the kid. It's just he's having a bad day, so let's take him out, right? Aren't you grateful that God doesn't see us based on other people's sins? Aren't you grateful that he doesn't worry about other people's mistakes, other people's failures, and then look at you expecting, like, what's going on? Make the correlation. No. He looks at you based on what your relationship with him looks like. He knows exactly what mistakes you're going to make, what sin you're going to commit. It doesn't matter, and he loves you anyway. And these sons go on to be some of the biggest musicians in the Bible. They write 12 of the Psalms in the Bible. 12. Some of them become musicians, some become soldiers, some become gatekeepers to the tabernacle, and they end up being some of the most faithful servants that the Bible has ever seen. And you see, they saw God. They saw his power. They saw what can happen if you go against the plans of God. He's like, listen, I do not want to follow the footsteps of my Father. So I'm going to make sure that we do something different. So when he's writing the psalm, he's grateful that he even has a second chance at life. All of that because he remembered who God was. I'll give you an example. Anybody at all know what this random contraption is? It's a tape. Tape. Yeah? Tape. Wow. This thing has like some kind of like ribbon in it. You could turn it. Pencils are the best for it, by the way. Pencils. And apparently you put this into some kind of machine and it plays music. Right? You know what I'm talking about, that giant Walkman that was like this big. You put it in. What's up? Yeah, look at my Walkman. It was those little, like, cheap little headphones with the foam things, right? Nowadays, everybody's like, oh, check out my Spotify playlist. It's so, wow. But what I used to love about this, I remember spending hours in front of my little stereo at home. And by little stereo, I mean one that looks like this, right? If you grew up in Hialeah, todo el mundo tenía uno de estos. Everybody had one of these things, right? You had the thing to hold the records, right? Nobody ever listened to the records. I don't know why we had a turntable, right? But I would sit there listening to Power 96, right? Like, oh, DJ Mix, that new hit, blah, 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 whatever. And as soon as he was done, I'm like, record, Because I wanted the song. Pirating at its best. I know. Before Napster. Wow. Anyway, so I remember, I know, way back, right? So I remember making mixtapes. You remember making mixtapes? Right? Woo! Girls, come on now. Who got a mixtape? Come on. Mm-hmm. You know you didn't make a mixtape. That's not the way it works, right? The guy makes me the mixtape, right? Ladies, how many of you received a mixtape from somebody you didn't like? Oh, I'm so sorry, right? That's the worst. Like, hey, baby, I love you. Right? You grab it and you're like, let's move on, right? I would spend hours making mixtapes, making sure I got the right song, the right jam, the right words, because I wanted to present myself, like, hey, man, like, I was thinking about you, girl, and I made you this mixtape, and I want you to listen to it, and do me a favor. Once you listen to it, on the tape, it says yes or no. Just check it off for me, right? You want to be my girlfriend, So you put the tape in, and what would these songs, be like, oh, all my life, right? I pray for someone like you. I get spiritual, like, I was praying for you, girl. Right? And I thank God, right? I thank God for you. I love you, right? Why would we go through hours and hours painstakingly trying to, like, now you put a Spotify playlist together, give me a break. We had to work, right? Yeah? You know what I'm saying? So why would we do that? Why would we go crazy about these songs, about these words? Why? Because when I gave that person that mixtape, I wanted them to think about me. Right? That's what you do, right? If you had a pen pal or if somebody went out of town, you had a friend, you would send them a tape, right? A mixtape and go, hey, man, I'm thinking about you and I thought about these songs. And you're like, oh, man, that's so cool. And the mixtape was supposed to remind you of who that person was in your life. My friends, the Psalms are God's mixtape to us. You see, he spent generations, people going through all types of crazy stuff. Stuff that we couldn't even imagine. If I was in the middle of some of the stuff that these guys were going, I'm like, you know what, forget about it. I'm just like, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, forget it. I surrender. But this is his mixtape to us. Why? So that when we would read our Psalms, we wouldn't be like, oh, man, I'm in this crazy situation. I need to find a way out, Lord. Should I lie? Should I do this? It's not about reminding ourselves of the situation that we're in and how messed up we are. No. Instead, you read the Psalms, you listen to the songs, so that way you can be reminded of who he is. My friends, God is so faithful in these Psalms. And you got to find your favorite Psalm. Because there is a Psalm for every single situation in your life, no matter what you're going through. You just got to find it. And the only way you could do that is by reading it. So I'm going to make it really simple for you. On the back of your connection card, you want to find your favorite Psalm, check off Begin Psalms Reading Plan. And I'm going to send you a Bible plan so that you can get through the Psalms in 30 days. This is no joke. It's a lot of reading. But I can guarantee you one thing. There's a big difference when you put on your mixtape and listen to the words of God and be reminded of how God has a plan for you instead of not listening to anything and freaking out in your own mind and letting fear destroy you from the inside out. So check that off, and I'm going to send that to you so that way you can get through the Psalms. And here's the thing. Korah failed at this miserably. Korah forgot everything. He had no mixtape. He had no nothing. He's like, forget it. I've got my own plan. And there's a reason why God had Israel walk through the desert for 40 years, right? It's in your notes, Deuteronomy 8:2. It says, and you shall remember that the Lord your God led you all the way these 40 years in the wilderness. Why? To humble you and test you, to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. Korah, unfortunately, we'll never hear about him again because he didn't keep his commandments, because his heart got filled with pride, and he forgot to humble himself before the Lord that he serves, and he's been serving forever. Let's finish off the psalm. This is my favorite part. Psalm 46, verse 8 says this, come, behold the works of the Lord, who has made desolations in the earth. He makes wars cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and cuts the spear in two. He burns a chariot in the fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. You pause and give me your attention. The last thing, if you want to rely on God and when you need him the most, is stop playing God in your life. Isaiah 45 says this, turn to me and be saved, all you ends of the earth, for I am God, and there is no other. My friends, I have good news. Good news. God is awesome, and God is here, and God is real, and he's not you. That situation that you've got a hold of right now, whatever it is, that relationship, your marriage, your finances, right? That crazy uncle that keeps doing crazy things at family reunions, right? Whatever. You can only control so much. You are not God. And that should be good news. Because you know what? I don't want to be God. You ever seen Bruce Almighty trying to answer all the prayer requests? Bad situation, right? Like the Post-its, horrible idea, right? And I don't want that type of pressure in my life. I've got enough things, like enough bills piling up and all that. I look at my mortgage all the time. I'm just like, you know what? I could just live in a cave. I mean, that'd be awesome. If I live in a cave, I don't have to worry about my bill ever being in front of my face ever again, right? But no, we have bills, we have trials, and it's going to happen. But the thing is, we don't stop. And God commands us to. In verse 10, it says, be still and know who's really in charge. But it's so hard to do that, isn't it? To just stop in the middle of the chaos, in the middle of that crazy trial. And what's funny is, we think we know how it's going to end up. We think we have it all put together. We know, no, God, George, I got burned before with this old, relationship, but this one's going to be different. Oh, okay, you're giving it over to God. No. I mean, I still got it. But, it's going to be different because I'm not going to make the same mistakes. I'm like, oh, wow, that's incredible. So you're going to do it God's way. He's like, kind of. All right. What is that even? There's no kinda here. Are you gonna trust God or not? It's like, man, but I trusted God and I got burned for it, man. I'm like, listen, maybe that was the wrong person. You know what I mean? Like, oh, but I don't know. And just be still. What's funny is this word, I don't know if you notice, in every section of this psalm, there's this word at the end of our verses that says Selah. right? What does that mean, right? Selah. It means to pause, to reflect, or to stop. Selah appears 71 times in the entire book of Psalms, and just in this one little psalm, it says it 3 times, plus the command to be still. You think God is trying to get our attention? Probably. You see, when we obsess over our problems, when we get consumed by them, we just don't stop to let God in. We think we got it. It's okay. God, hey, see you later. This church thing, this God thing, this Bible thing is cool, whatever, for other people. But I don't have time. Ain't nobody got time for God, right? This is my life. I'm going to take care of myself. Be still. There I was, palms sweaty, heart racing, And I have the keys to the van. Remember the van? That van. I'm in front of the rental place, right? And the guy comes up and he says, Mr. Martinez, how was your weekend? I'm like, It was great, man. It was great. It's awesome. Hey, how was the van? The van was great. Oh, awesome. Great to hear. Well, hey, we're going to finish up your paperwork in a second, man, and you'll be on your way. I'm like, all right, man. Great. He's like, all right, cool. So I'm just going to inspect the van for any damages, Why? I'm like, all right, man, just go ahead. Here are the keys, I don't know how many different ways I prayed, how many different languages I prayed in, whether I was speaking in tongues or not, okay? I was praying to God, God, I will move to Africa if you just please make this guy temporarily blind. In Jesus' name. I prayed, I'm sorry, God. I prayed that. I really did. I prayed that. Lack of faith, huh? And I'm like, just make him blind. It's the only way out. I'm done. I have no more. I've got nothing. That's it. He gets, and I'm like, okay, so wait, I go, maybe it's a big van. He'll just walk around. First thing he does, open the door, jumps on top, and looks at the roof. And I'm like, this only happens to me. The bad fade haircut, this is a typical George Martinez experience. You know what I mean? Like, and he looks, and he starts writing. I'm like, what's he writing? He gets off the van, looks around, he's writing, comes up to me, he's like, well, Mr. Martinez, I'm like, I know. Somebody I know, And he's like, you're all set. Just sign right here. And I'm like, okay, sure. He's like, here's your copy. I'm like, and have you ever seen like Looney Tunes, Roadrunner? I'm like, phew! I'm like, I was gone. There was like a cloud. He's like, whoa, where'd he go? Like, I get in my car, I'm breaking every law to get out as far away from the proximity of that van, I call Evelyn, I'm like, sweetie, the Lord heard my prayers. He made him blind. He's like, what? The heck are you talking about? I'm like, he got up, he looked at the roof. And he said, you're good. I'm like, he's blind? He has to be. There's got to be. He's made fake eye, I don't know, something, And she's like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, I know. God's good. We might need to move to Africa, but God is good. And I got to a red light. And I looked at the paperwork, and I'm just like, what in the world? I signed it, and I look. And this paperwork had been with me the entire weekend in the dash of the van, right? And I pick it up, and it has these areas, like where damages, and one of the boxes were checked off for whatever reason was roof. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, hold on a second. And I'm like, I look at it again, and it says roof, and it's checked off. And I'm just like, you mean to tell me that the entire weekend I could have been enjoying the Naples Grand Beach Resort? It looks amazing on the pictures. The pool has this awesome water slide into the pool that I go on a lot. but whatever. And instead of enjoying my wife, instead of growing closer to God that entire weekend, my wife was a stupid van, right? This van that destroyed everything. And the entire time, if I would have just stopped in the middle of this crazy situation and read this paper that God had put there the entire time, I would have enjoyed myself. God had plans for me and Evelyn to enjoy that week and to have a great week. Think about it. He gave me a messed up van because he knew what was going to happen. He knew what I was going to do. He knew what Evelyn was going to do before it even happened. The roof is all busted up. Hey, George, I want you to make sure you have a really good time with your wife, and I want you to draw closer to me. So, hey, here's a messed up van so you don't stress about it. Don't stress about it. All I did was stress about it. Why? Because I couldn't stop. I had to fix it. I had to fix the situation, right? I had to get the spray paint. I took the van to a car wash. Give me a break. God is looking at me like, this is different. I saw this weekend being completely different. Like, I really, how did we get here? And I'm like, yeah, it's a total George moment, My friends, what area in your life do you need to be still in right now? God has so many amazing plans, but are we getting in the way of them because we're trying to be Him? Or do we allow Him to do whatever He wills because it says that His plans are for good, not for evil? You can badmouth God all you want, but when you look back on your life and you look back at everything He's done in your life, He has been faithful and He's been with you the entire time. When I take an awesome picture of a burger at Pincho Factory, right, and I put it on my Instagram, and everybody's like, man, George eats the craziest stuff. It's not about the food. It's not about the food. I look at that crazy picture and I remember that God healed my stomach years ago, right? When my friends were all drugged up, doing all the crazy stuff and whatever, I'm a musician, forget about it, right? Everybody had something on something. For some reason I said no. Dare worked really well, right? Dare, all right. You remember Dare. But if we would just stop and know that God is with you the entire time, we would stress out so much less than we do right now. We would freak out so much less than we do right now. And Jesus said this once. He said, be still, once in the New Testament, to a group of people that were losing it. They were going out of control. They thought they were going to die, completely lacking faith. And those people were His disciples, the closest people in His life. And then put it in your notes in Mark 4:39. It says this, then He arose and rebuked the wind, Jesus did, and said to the sea, peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. But He said to them, why are you so fearful? I'm in the boat. I can't get any closer. How is it that you have no faith? And they feared exceedingly and said to one another, who can this be, that even the wind and the sea obeys Him? He's God, and He's got you. If we want Jesus to calm the storms in our lives, if you want Jesus to stop the storms in your lives, you need to stop yourself first. Selah, just relax. Okay, there are plenty of places you can go to try to fix your problems, try to cover up your problems, try to pretend like you don't sin and look really good on your first day of school, right? A lot of places you can do that. But if you want the God of this Bible, the God of the universe who loves you regardless of all your failures, if you want the God to rescue you today, then stop trying to rescue yourself. You weren't designed for that. Just stop. I want everybody to bow their heads and just close your eyes. And let's just be still for one moment. This world throws so much at us. How we're supposed to look, how we're supposed to behave, all this stuff. There's so much distraction between Instagram feeds and this and that and all this stuff and who liked my picture and all of that. And can you imagine how many times we've been going 150 miles an hour through this thing called life and we don't stop for 1 second to tell God, you know what, man, you got it under control. When I thought there was no way out, you showed me a way. When I thought I had to pay for a roof, you already took care of it anyway. And He loves you. You are not defined by your failures, by your parents' failures, by your children's failures. You are defined by the incredible God that you follow. As long as you keep Him close and you just be still. So maybe you're here today and you just need to surrender to God and go, you know what, God? I'm exhausted. I've been trying to figure things out on my own my entire life. And now I just, you know what? I just need you more than anything else. I need to rely on you 150%. If that's you, I want you to raise your hand. And I want to pray for you. Maybe for you, you don't even know who this God is. And you don't even know that God, this loving God, sent his son Jesus because he knew that we would never be perfect. We would never be able to amount to the perfection that he requires. So he sent his son Jesus, pays our tab on that cross for every sin, every failure, every mistake that you ever made, so he can forgive you and give you a hope. There's more to life than this, and it's in Jesus. So maybe for some of you today, you need to be still and just surrender your life to God, to Jesus right now. So if that's you, I want to invite you to raise your hand. Every eye closed, every head bowed. I see your hand. I see your hand. I see your hand in the back. God bless you. I see your hand. You're tired. You're done. Checkmate. I'm done. I'm done trying to do this myself. I see your hand, sir. I see your hand. Incredible. Father, I thank you for every single hand in this place that's up. I thank you for all the hands that didn't go up, Lord. I thank you for the hearts of people right now that have received from your word, that decided to come to church today to hear from you, and I pray that they did, Lord. I pray that today they walk out of this place with a hope that cannot be extinguished, Lord. Your spirit, God, that it will consume them like a fire, God. So that the next time they're freaking out, the next time they don't know what they're going to do, Lord, they would find their favorite psalm. They would spend time with you. They would feed their faith instead of feeding their fear, God. So I just pray right now, for those of you who raise your hand, I want you to repeat this prayer. This is not some type of magic formula. But if you pray this in sincerity, God will hear it and you will be saved. The entire church is going to join you in this, and repeat after me. Just say, Dear God, I come to you today, and I say that I'm sorry for the mistakes that I've made, for the sin in my life. I want to walk with you for the rest of my life. I believe that Jesus gave his life so that I can have mine. Thank you for Jesus. And it's in his name that we pray, and everyone says, Amen. Amen.
We hope you enjoyed the message. If today you want to take your next step with God and give your life to Christ, please visit mycalvary.com/begin. We have a free gift for you. We also want to encourage you to share today's message with all of your friends and family, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. From all of us at Calvary, God bless you.